When we think about space stations, many of us picture sci-fi movies with sprawling structures floating effortlessly in the vacuum of space. But the reality is somewhat different. The only true space station currently in existence is the International Space Station, a marvel of human engineering and international cooperation. Yet even this remarkable structure has its limits. It's a relatively small habitat, a far cry from the vast, self-sustaining colonies we often imagine. It's also subject to a myriad of technical and logistical challenges, which we'll delve further into later. So if we've managed to put a space station in orbit, albeit with limitations, it begs the question, why are there not more of these tech marvels orbiting our planet? To understand the absence of space stations, we first need to comprehend the realities of space travel. Picture this. You're strapped to a rocket, accelerating to a speed of approximately 17,500 miles per hour, just to break free from Earth's gravitational pull. You're heading into an environment where temperatures can swing wildly from extreme heat to extreme cold, and where a simple mistake or a technical glitch can have catastrophic consequences. Space is not for the faint-hearted. It's a place of profound isolation and silence, where the nearest help is millions of miles away. Our human bodies, which evolved to thrive on Earth, are ill-suited to this environment. The lack of gravity can lead to muscle atrophy and bone loss, while prolonged exposure to cosmic radiation can increase the risk of cancer. The psychological impacts of being confined in a small space, far from home, are significant as well. Astronauts have reported feelings of depression, isolation, and stress. Then there's the matter of distance. Space is vast, unimaginably so. Even the closest planets, like Mars, would take months to reach using current technology. And the further we go, the more complex and risky the mission becomes. Let's not forget about the cost. Space travel is expensive, incredibly so. Developing, testing, and launching a spacecraft can cost billions of dollars, and that's just to get to space. The costs of maintaining a space station, supplying it with food, water, and oxygen, and ensuring the safety and well-being of the astronauts on board all add up. Space travel, it seems, is not as simple as packing a suitcase and boarding a spaceship. It's a complex, risky, and costly endeavor, and these are just some of the reasons why we don't have space stations dotting the cosmos. But don't lose heart. The challenges are steep, but they are not insurmountable. Just as we've overcome hurdles in the past, we will continue to push the boundaries of what's possible in the future. Another key reason why space stations are not as common as we might dream lies in the technology. Let's delve into the technological challenges that make establishing and maintaining a space station a daunting task. To begin with, creating a self-sustaining environment in space is no small feat. Space stations need to replicate the conditions on Earth, and that includes everything from the air we breathe to the gravity that keeps us grounded. Consider for a moment the delicate balance of gases in our atmosphere. Creating a similar balance in the confined space of a station is a complex task. It involves managing levels of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and other gases, as well as maintaining a steady temperature and humidity. Then there's the challenge of gravity, or rather, the lack of it. In space, astronauts experience weightlessness, which can have detrimental effects on the human body over time. To counter this, space stations would need to somehow simulate gravity, a technological hurdle that we've yet to fully overcome. Another significant obstacle lies in communication and power supply. Space stations are hundreds of kilometers above the Earth, which complicates both sending and receiving signals. The farther a station is, the longer it takes for signals to travel, potentially leading to delays in communication. As for power supply, it's not like you can just plug a space station into the nearest power grid. Instead, stations have to generate their own power, often through solar panels. But this method isn't without its drawbacks. For instance, a station in Earth's shadow won't receive sunlight, thereby losing its power source. Lastly, there's the issue of maintenance. Things break down, and in the harsh environment of space, this is even more likely to happen. Fixing something in zero gravity, hundreds of kilometers from the nearest hardware store, is a logistical nightmare. In light of these challenges, it's evident that we still have a lot to learn and improve upon. It's clear that the technology for widespread space habitation still has a long way to go. Let's not forget the elephant in the room: the astronomical cost of it all. Establishing a space station is an enormous financial endeavor. It's not just about building the station itself. It's a package deal that includes research, development, launching, and not to forget, the recurring costs of maintaining and operating the station. The International Space Station, one of the few existing space stations, is a prime example. This multinational cooperative project has cost about $150 billion since its inception. Yes, you heard it right. $150 billion. That's a price tag that could make even the most ambitious nations pause. Now, let's put this into perspective. The World Health Organization estimates that providing basic healthcare worldwide would cost approximately $400 billion a year. That means for more than 2 times the cost of the International Space Station, we could fund a year of basic healthcare for every single person on the planet. Of course, it's not a simple matter of redirecting funds from space exploration to healthcare, or any other global priority for that matter. Each of these areas has its own complexities and challenges, but it does highlight the enormous financial commitment involved in space exploration. It's also worth noting that the cost of space exploration is not just a one-time expenditure. Space stations require continuous funding for maintenance, upgrades, and to support the crew members living aboard. These ongoing costs can quickly inflate the overall expense of maintaining a space station. With all these financial considerations, it's clear that space exploration, including the establishment of space stations, is a costly endeavor. It's not just about the technological hurdles, it's also about the financial realities. With such high costs, it's no surprise that space stations are not a commonplace sight in our night sky. Despite these challenges, the dream of space stations is far from dead. The vision of a future where humans live and work in space is still very much alive, and there are numerous projects and plans underway that promise to make this dream a reality. Currently, there are several global space agencies and private companies that are in the race to construct the next generation of space stations. NASA, for instance, has plans for the Lunar Gateway, a small spaceship that will orbit around the Moon, providing a stepping stone for human and robotic exploration in deep space. On the other hand, private companies are also playing a significant role in space exploration. Take SpaceX, for example. Their ambitious Starship project aims to carry up to 100 passengers, making it a potential candidate for a future space station. And it's not just about the size. The Starship is designed to be fully reusable, which could dramatically lower the cost of space travel. In addition to SpaceX, there's also Blue Origin, the space venture founded by Amazon's Jeff Bezos. Their vision is to build floating space colonies, each housing up to 1 million people. These colonies could serve as both homes and workplaces, essentially creating new societies in space. Despite the current challenges, the potential for technological advancements is enormous. As we continue to innovate, we'll find ways to solve the problems we face today. For instance, we're making strides in developing efficient recycling systems for water and air, which are critical for long-term space habitation. Moreover, advances in robotics and artificial intelligence could also play a significant part in the construction and maintenance of future space stations. Imagine a team of robots, operating autonomously, building a space station piece by piece. It's not a far-fetched idea, but a potential reality in the not-so-distant future. Who knows? Maybe one day the night sky will be dotted with space stations. So, there you have it. We've embarked on a journey through the cosmos, pondered the possibilities, and confronted the harsh realities of space travel. We've grappled with the technological hurdles that stand between us and the stars, from the daunting task of creating life-supporting environments in the void of space, to the challenge of developing propulsion systems that can get us there. We've also explored the economic perspective, considering the immense costs associated with launching and maintaining a space station, and pondered the question of who should bear these costs. Yet, despite these challenges, We've also glimpsed the future of space stations, a future filled with potential and promise. From scientific research stations to commercial hotels, the possibilities are endless. However, it's clear that achieving these dreams will require us to overcome significant obstacles and make substantial investments. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Did you learn something? If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel for more.